On this edition of Let's Talk Cincy, a party with a purpose of saving lives.
You got people walking, you have line dancing, you have fitness demonstrations, you have nutrition information here. We have over 100 vendors. You're talking about from the screening standpoint, you got blood pressure, glucose, cholesterol, height and weight. You got HIV screenings, we have a kidney screening. You don't have to pull out your credit card for nothing, no co-pays or nothing. And if you have an irregular screening, we're signing you up for a follow-up appointment right there on the spot.
Get checked out, not checked in. The powerful message behind Black Men's Wellness Day in Cincinnati. From WLWT, this is the Emmy Award-winning show, Let's Talk Cincy. Presented by Western and Southern Financial Group. Put our financial strength behind you.
Hello everyone, I'm Aaron Thomas. Now welcome to a special edition of Let's Talk Cincy. The numbers tell the story. In almost every category, Black men experience the highest percentage of preventable diseases compared with white men. One example is kidney disease. Black men are 3 to 4 times more likely to develop end-stage kidney disease than white men. The driving factor is uncontrolled hypertension and diabetes. But an event in Cincinnati hopes to change that narrative.
The Black Men's Wellness Day takes place July 18th at Central Park. Organizers say the event focuses on improving health outcomes, increasing life expectancy, and encouraging preventative care. That's the mission of the African American Male Wellness Agency. It's a national nonprofit organization founded in 2004. Men attending Black Men's Wellness Day will get free health screenings, take part in fitness activities.
Woo! Woo! Come on, y'all! Congratulations! Let us go!
And receive wellness resources. Nearly 200 men received free health screenings last year. The goal is to empower you to take control of your health.
Now, how fun does that look? Joining me now from the African American Wellness Agency, our co-founder, Dr. John Gregory, and President Kenny Hampton. Welcome to Let's Talk Cincy. We're going to talk about that event in a moment, but what inspired this agency in the first place?
Well, this was a workforce project, and we were getting young men opportunities to come to work, but I was trying to figure out, doing the research on what were the variables that were not allowing young men, particularly between the ages of 18 to 30, to go to work. Were they lazy? Was it racism they weren't getting a job? Were they not healthy? And so we guaranteed 100 young men a job between the ages of 18 to 30. But the requirement to get their paycheck is they had to come get a weekly biometric screening. And after 120 days doing this, the nurses that were doing the project with me came to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Gregory, these young men are sick. 90% of them had high blood pressure, other 80% of them had diabetes, another had cardiovascular issues." So somebody after that said, "Well, what are we going to do about that?" And I was like, "I don't know. What do people do?" And then I looked and saw where they had the Susan Komen breast cancer walk, or they walk for kidneys. And I looked, and there was nothing out there that where it was promoting health awareness amongst Black men.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, I said, "Hey, let's walk." And the funny thing is, I didn't realize it was a 5K. I just said, "Let's walk." So we walked 5 miles, the first walk. But after that, we started doing health screenings, and from that point on, it just started to grow. Yeah,
that's pretty inspiring. And, of course, what realities in the Black community made you realize that something like this was needed?
Because, and this is really current, the last probably 18 months, we've screened almost 12,000 men, and 85% of them had high blood pressure. And 42% of them walked around and didn't even know that they had stage 1 blood pressure, high blood pressure. So, and then, just today, we were talking to our coordinator here in Cincinnati. He had a friend that's 40-some years old that was dying. The life expectancy of a Black man is 67 years old. That of a white man is about 79. So when you look at those numbers, and that we are experiencing right now, and going across the country in 20-some plus different cities, we see the numbers ourselves. High blood pressure, kidney disease, peripheral artery disease. We see all the numbers. Numbers don't lie.
Yeah, and you know, just from a personal hand experience, you know, I lost my grandfather at 68 years old, which is, you know, pretty young. But when we talk about this agency in particular, what made you want to focus in on Black men and their health?
Kenny?
Well, African-American men, as Dr. Gregory has stated, unfortunately are dying in the hands of these preventable diseases. We're not going to the doctor. And so our organization pride ourselves on bringing the clinic to the community. As you was able to share, yes, it is a fun, exciting time. We say it's the most fun you'll ever have at a doctor's appointment. And so our mission is to respond to the fact that too many of us, unfortunately, are dying on average age 67 years old. And the number one thing that we're learning is that hypertension is claiming way too many lives of our men. They're dying in the hands of stroke. We've learned in the last 7 months, the last 6 months, 7 Black men who have died in their 40s in the hands of a heart attack or a stroke. We're just saying that on our watch. And so we've partnered with organizations that have allowed us to create free access to these biometric screenings. Local sponsors such as CareSource, Kroger, Anthem, and national partners such as Bayer, who is helping us respond to the kidney disease issue that we are seeing as a result of the hypertension. So we're being very intentional to give men access while we're raising the awareness with the 5K walk and run. But more importantly, we're challenging our men to take action and create a routine and a lifestyle that includes going to the doctor.
Yeah, you know, and that access, it really does make all the difference. And, you know, just based on the video that we just saw a while ago, it looked like a pretty good time, bringing a lot of people from
Most fun you'll ever have at a doctor's appointment.
Hey, got to make going to the doctor fun, right? So, of course, this event's going to be taking place this upcoming, well, next Saturday, I should say. You can see on your screen right now, taking place at Central Park. You have the address right there, July 18th. 2026. Make sure you bring a friend, tell a friend to bring a family member who's been hesitant, but definitely something that you want to take advantage of happening in your backyard. Of course, we'll be back right after the break with more information. And welcome back to this very important discussion on healthcare. Joining me are Dr. John Gregory and Kenny Hampton to talk about the upcoming Black Men's Wellness Day this Saturday. Now, we just saw some of the preventable diseases that impact Black men at a higher rate than white men. Why are Black men often less likely to seek preventative health screenings before a crisis happens?
I would say that part of it is awareness, the lack of awareness of the severity of diseases. And the other piece is trust. You know, we don't have a lot of trust of the health systems because we're very misinformed. And so, you know, the first time most Black men have a visit to the doctor is at the emergency room. And so one of the things that you heard Kenny say is that our motto is we bring the clinic to the community is you don't have to go to see the doctor, we're bringing the doctor to you. And then we put it in an environment, and we've just got finished doing a research project with The Ohio State University for the last 3 years, is that proving that if we do stuff in groups, men have a more opportunity to participate. And let me say, white men don't go to the doctor either. So, you know, but we are just taking more severity in our population is that, you know, our life expectancy is 67. And so when you think about that, you think about why don't you do it? They don't do it because A, the lack of awareness, and B, trust.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair to say men, we are pretty stubborn, especially when it comes to our health. I do want to play off of what you mentioned about the mistrust. Where does that mistrust come from? You know, how does the mistrust of our healthcare system play into Black men not getting the preventative care that they need?
Well, I think it all started back, and most people use this Tuskegee Institute study where Black men died, and it wasn't because, you know, people always say that they were injected with something. They weren't treated. And not only they were not treated, they were lied to. And so over the years, that story has been permeated into our community. And then there are other things that, you know, you just don't trust. In our culture that we're in now, you go like, you know, we have lived in a very divided environment. And so our trust factor has just lessened. And you think in terms of who people where we go to get served that don't look like us. And so one of the things we really try to do in our educational awareness is make sure that people also have an opportunity to see people that look like them.
Yeah.
Or when we do have doctors and that are not are black that come, now they see that they're coming to our communities and they're participating, and that heightens the trust factor.
Yeah. Kenny, you can chime in on this if you want to. Of course, I know you two have been adamant about making sure people have access to the healthcare they need. How do work schedules, transportation, and everyday life pressures play a role into people not getting the care that they need?
Well, oftentimes we prioritize not the temptation, but the responsibility to provide, right? And we think that getting to that job, and we think that going out and doing all the things that we're responsible for should be the main priority. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it's important, but without your health, you're unable to fulfill any of those obligations. And so our organization, we have very transparent conversations with men to help them shift their mindset and prioritize the importance of, number one, going to the doctor, number two, knowing your numbers, and then number three, moving your body. Oftentimes we think that because we have a former athletic body, or we're not having any visible symptoms, that something's not going wrong. There's nothing wrong with us. But what Dr. Gregory has shared earlier regarding the 85% of the men of the 12,000 that have gotten screened in the last 2 years, they had high blood pressure. The other statistic is that 56% of those men didn't know it. And I was one of those individuals. And
Healthy body.
Yeah, you know.
Like an athlete.
Thinking that my former athletic days.
Walking around about to die.
Yeah, I mean, I had triple digits, top number and bottom number, not realizing that that was damaging my kidneys. And so I had to shift my mindset with that, but what we've learned is
Only
that.
because we threatening.
Yeah.
Sometimes that threatening, it's appropriate in times like this. So
Absolutely, because it truly is life-changing, but more importantly, it's life-saving work that we're doing. And so we're trying to get men to understand that the urgency around going to the doctor and for us to actually bring the clinic to the community is at an all-time high for us, because unfortunately we are literally decreasing our life expectancy when we don't prioritize going to the doctor.
Yeah, understood. And of course, another reminder, going to keep reminding you throughout the segment that you can attend this on next Saturday, July 18th. Central Park, you have the address right there, Forest Park. Bring as many people as you can, maybe someone in your family, you know, a personal friend that has been putting off their health screenings. They've been putting it off, but great chance to take advantage of it for free. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back. Now let's turn our attention to the Black Men's Wellness Day, which is happening on July 18th. Joining the conversation now is the Cincinnati coordinator, James Robertson. First of all, thank you for joining us. For people hearing about this for the first time, what can they expect at the park on July 18th?
So they can expect, like they mentioned, some fun. So we're going to have line dancing, we're going to have step aerobics, we're going to have yoga, we're going to have flag football, we have a kids zone, we're going to have many screeners who are going to be there. We're going to have fun. We have a DJ, a few acts that's going to be playing. So. Okay,
and of course we have free health screenings. What does that screening process look like? Is it quick? Is it lengthy?
Well, some of the process is a little lengthy, but most of it's pretty quick. So you start off with registration, then you move into the screening area with our partner, UC Health will be there. And then from there, you can do various screening like the kidney and various other ones.
You know, I think as men in particular, I think we have this out of sight, out of mind approach. If I don't know about it, it's not affecting me.
Right.
Why is it so important for Black men to know their numbers?
Well, for me, 2 years ago when I first volunteered and I helped out, I didn't know my numbers. And I went in and I got screened reluctantly, you know, but my numbers were high. You know, I was in a high percentage, you know, the 3 digits at the top and the bottom. And they also recommended me to maybe go to the hospital that day. But I was like, no, I was fine. I had a little headache, but I was like, no, I'm fine. I was like, so then I ended up scheduling their appointment. They had doctors available. And then from there, I was like, I need to make sure I take care of myself because I was nervous because they was like, hey, you need to get checked in today, you know? And I from there was my chance to like, all right, next year, I'm gonna do better. So the following year, I volunteered, and my numbers were perfect. So I lost weight. I was on blood pressure medicine. I'm off of that now. So that's just been my goal, just to make sure I get in and get checked out and get checked in.
But it makes a difference, when
Not
you get
checked in, sorry.
Well, there you go. It makes a difference. It makes a difference when you get ahead of it, though. If you wait too late, it can be that much more detrimental. But how do you make these screenings or the event in general more welcoming? I think for some people, getting their health check is intimidating.
Yeah. So one thing I've used, because our women are the ones that around us that push us. So hey, tell your husband, tell the guys. Guys, it's gonna be fun. There's gonna be music. There's gonna be food, free food zone where we're gonna have different healthy eatery. We are partnered up with a few partners here. They're gonna be bringing food in. So yeah, we just make it fun because you want to know your numbers because you want to live longer. Than like we said, we have to take care of ourselves.
Now, the reality, let's say if you do participate in a screening and you do get something that's concerning, what are the next steps? Who do you have that can help you guide through what's revealed?
So let me answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
All of our events have physicians at the end of the screenings. And this physicians volunteer their time, or it's a nurse practitioner, or some health professional that looks at your screening numbers, and then what they do is they evaluate it and they will tell you what your next steps are. And then we all have partnered with other organizations that are able to provide continuous care. So, and at some of our walks, there are people there who can prescribe you blood pressure medication for 10 days right there on the spot. So you get an evaluation and you get a consultation free at the event by medical professionals. And sometimes, as James says, you are told to go to the emergency room right now.
Of course, I know the event we've been focusing on Black Men's Wellness Day. Is this just for men, or can children, can our women, can they take advantage of some of the services and screenings as well?
It's for the entire community. You'll see across the shirts at all of our events, because this is Cincinnati is a part of a 20+ city nationwide tour. But you will see wellness for everybody. That is our mantra, to invite the entire community. Everyone can come, and all men are invited to participate in this.
Including you.
Including you.
Last time you had your numbers checked.
I had my numbers checked in May.
Okay.
So yeah, my family, we don't play about that stuff. That's something I take pretty serious too. And I'm pretty active, but you just never know. I think we get wrapped up in what we see on the outside, but it's what's happening on the inside. So thank you for asking that question.
But you know how many men tell us, I went to the doctor in May?
And probably not many.
And didn't go.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But that's why it helps to have people that will help hold you accountable. So of course, this is happening next Saturday, folks, July 18th, Central Park, Forest Park. You have the address right there. A lot of great free events to take advantage of. It's going to be a good time. You'll have a lot of fun. You'll be surrounded by community. Mark the date on your calendar. We'll be breaking down a lot more of this when we come back after the break. Welcome back, folks. We are honing in on the upcoming Black Men's Wellness Day. What first motivated you to attend this event?
To attend the event? Wow. So I actually have an interesting story. It'll be 5 years leading this organization in September, but I came on board years prior to joining the organization as a sponsor, and was able to really see the impact that the organization was having on the community, and was invited, I should say, to consider joining the organization years later. But I was arrogantly saying, no, I'm okay, I'm gonna continue doing my own thing. And to see the ability or the opportunity to lead from the front and give Black men an example of how prioritizing your health is important. James mentioned that he was recommended to go to the hospital at the event. Well, 10% of the men that are screened at all of our events, that is the recommendation. And so unfortunately, men on that day, when we bring the clinic to the community, they're going to be recommended to go directly to the hospital. And so I take a lot of pride in it, to go out and herald this message, to let men know to get checked out, not checked in.
Yeah, it's a good launching pad to taking care of your health. And then What was your experience like overall? Were you intimidated at first, or were you looking forward to, mingling amongst the community?
There is a level of intimidation because there's a fear of the knowledge, the fear of the information. You don't oftentimes want to find out, so you try to avoid. I was at our events, even as the president of this organization. I would come to our events and I would make up excuses as to why I shouldn't go to the screening pavilion. But that is the number one reason, or the number one experience we want you to have, is to go through that screening pavilion. It's a very brief experience. You're able to go and be in the midst of your fellow brothers. It's a warm environment. We make it as comfortable as possible so that we can relax our men and invite them to get that information, because unfortunately that is what's causing us to die younger, is that we are catching things way too late. And so we're just trying to help men prioritize the importance of preventative maintenance. We know more about our vehicles than we know about our bodies, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
And so we're saying, hey, come out to Black Men's Wellness. They have a great time. It's the most fun that they'll ever have at a doctor's appointment, because too many of us are not even making it to 67 because we're dying in the hands of preventable diseases.
Just by all three of you being here, it shows just the passion and the care that you have for health, particularly Black men's health. How did attending this event change the way you think about health within our community?
For me, I'm 70, and when I turned 70, I was like, hey, I ain't got much time left. And it really then became even more conscious is that why you should be healthy. I was just sitting here thinking that actually Kenny and all his friends, three of his other friends, all went to Kentucky State University. And at our event, they all found out they had high blood pressure.
Wow.
And so to me, the awareness part, or it's kind of like Eli Lilly is one of our sponsors. They have we're doing a skin check for them. And one of the things we all talked about was men going bald, particularly Black men. So all of us shave our head, we go bald. But I just found out recently that your baldness is not necessarily hereditary. It's contributed to
alopecia.
And we always thought alopecia was something else. So the awareness of health and how you can be more healthy and live longer is made me more attentive to wanting to get message out, particularly in our communities, to men and women. Because, the truth of the matter is, we always brag about women. Well, we do an event called Uplift Her.
Yeah.
And women's health ain't that much better either.
Yeah.
They still have high blood pressure.
But they seem to be taking a great initiative ahead of the men. So the main takeaway from this conversation, though, is to get checked out, not checked in. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Again, we want to stress, look at your screen. There's no excuse to not attend this event that's happening in your backyard. Best of all, it's all free. So tell your cousin who's been putting it off, tell your uncle, tell your father, tell your grandfather, tell a friend, tell a coworker to come out to Black Men's Wellness Day. And thank you for joining us for another edition.